I have been working around a handful of Fiio products in recent times. Okay, the QX13 arrived first, then the K17, then the K13 R2R. I was unable to get the K15 because it doesn't make any sense to have all the three, to be precise, K13, K17, K15. It kind of gets messed up very closely spec'd. So K13, I have the K17. I'll make a comparison of K13 with the K17 too, because they are kind of similar. They both are desktop DAC amps, but here I'm doing something really foolish. Okay, let me be very clear. What I'm doing is I'm comparing the Fiio QX13 with the K13 R2R. This is a full-fledged desktop DAC amp that can do 2400 MW maximum power, okay, to be precise, maximum power, while this one too can do 900 MW of maximum power. So both are fairly powerful when we consider their form factor. In fact, I will go on to say that Fiio QX13 is the most powerful USB DAC amp. Okay, USB dongle you can get under $300. I do not see any other USB DAC amp that doesn't have built-in battery in it that does 900 MW and more than that. So yes, I definitely believe that this is the most powerful USB DAC amp available in the market under $200. While the K13 R2R is a follow-up to the K11 R2R, it's priced at $320. This one is priced at $220. This one has a R2R architecture that stacks the samples and the notes and then decodes it. So the presentation is slightly warmish, slightly more analogish. Both are fairly warm when it comes to the presentation, but there are definitely differences between the presentation of these two USB DAC amps. Now, the first thing first, yes, this one has a lot more power than this one, and it has bigger stage. Let me make a few things clear. K13 R2R has a bigger stage than the QX13. QX13 has a big stage, very big stage for a USB dongle, but this has a bigger stage. It has taller, wider, and a more holographic stage, while this one is a bit more expanded in the x-axis. Height is good too, but the z-axis depth is not exactly great, while this one can do very good z-axis depth too. If we talk about the displays, strangely, very strangely, the USB DAC amp has a bigger display. It has a 1.99, or you can say 2-inch display, while this one has 1.1, if I'm not wrong, 1.1-inch display, but they get the job done, no issues with that. Both have app support, both have very good PEQ settings. I have done the PEQ walkthrough and that kind of stuff for both of these. Let's move on to the sound quality, which is why we are here. I'm not going to run you guys down with the connectivity options, the desktop mode and that kind of stuff, because if you are watching this, I would like to believe that you are already versed in the capabilities and connectivity options of both of these USB sources. USB sources, but this one has the advantage of Bluetooth. Okay, so that's the only big difference that we can see when it comes to the connectivity features. Okay, this does not have any wireless connectivity, while this one has wireless connectivity. So yes, finally let's jump into the sound quality. So I have been using a lot of headphones, a lot of IEMs with both of these. Okay, I have tried planar, I have tried high impedance headphones, I have tried sensitive IEMs, I have tried sensitive headphones, and I have to say that both of these USB, or you can say audio sources, have very good compatibility with nearly all of them. no issues, little to no issues with the effortlessness, to be precise. But yes, if you will put this one against something that is very demanding, okay, like something Sennheiser SD 800S or 820, this might stall, because yes, 900 MW of driving power is good enough, but it might not be able to deliver the kind of current that headphone might demand. Okay, but this can do that, not effortlessly, but it can do that better than this USB DAC amp. So yes, there's that. This one is not going to drive your most demanding headphones, but this can do some justice to them. As I already mentioned, both are a bit on the warmer side. None of these are analytical or very precise or very accurate, but this one is a bit more warmer, a bit more smoother, a bit more calmer when it comes to the presentation across the spectrum, while this one can have a bit more accuracy, a bit more precision, a bit more neutral, a bit more I'll say natural kind of presentation, while this one is slightly smoother. Okay, smoother across the spectrum. So let's break down the spectrum. How does the bass sounds? This one is a bit more on the boomier side. This one does favor the bass a bit, but this one can be slightly boomy. It offers a bit more weight behind the notes. I used it with a handful of headphones, and I have to say that this one definitely makes those headphones slightly more boomy, slightly more heavier when it comes to the punch. Both have exactly same kind of sub bass extension, but the rumbles are slightly more prominent on this one, but the mid bass is slightly more prominent on the QX13. QX13 is very good when it comes to the mid bass body. Slower, heavier, a bit more I'll say engaging mid bass, but that kind of loses resolution. Resolution and definition is slightly lacking with the QX13. Okay, but both have good layer delivery, no issues with layer delivery or anything, but this one has better dynamics, better contrast between back and foreground instruments, has slightly cleaner layer delivery, and control over upper bass notes is better with the K13 R2R. Okay, the power helps it control the looseness of these headphones. This kind of sounds like a good bassy headphone with the QX13, but not with the K13 R2R. Even though this one is a warmer, yes, it's not very warm. Let me be very clear. I have been very clear with that. This one is not very warm, but yes, it's on the warmer side. It's not analytical or anything like that. It's not trying to be very precise, very accurate or anything like that. So yes, that is that. Yet this one is warmer, has a bit more bass emphasis. This one does not have that kind of bass emphasis. If we move on to the mid range, okay, that is where things get interesting. Okay, what the QX13 does is, this one has a more throaty, a bit more organic, slightly slower, slightly thicker, slightly smoother, slightly more I'll say laid back kind of presentation with both vocals and instruments. They are not sharp. They are not trying to be very defined in the finishing regions either. What they are trying to be is musical and fatigue free. You will not have any fatigue with any of this, but this one is slightly smoother and does not offer you the kind of resolution that the K13 R2R offers. K13 R2R has better air between instruments. Both have very similar kind of texture, but this one has thicker notes. Okay, QX13 has thicker, fuller notes, but the form, okay, the note has a form. It has a bass and it rises, and that form is better with the K13 R2R. It retains the body. It makes you perceive the body better, and you enjoy the 3D back and foreground separation. This one is good. very good for a USB dongle, but this one has better capabilities, better technical abilities in that regard, and this one has better finishing definition, better resolution, better transparency, tonality and timbre is where maybe the QX13 has the advantage, because this one sounds slightly more organic, slightly more throaty, as I mentioned. Okay, both male and female vocals sounds slightly thicker. Yes, the female vocals could have been slightly more precise, but the accuracy is available with the K13R2R. K13R2R has very good accuracy. Tonal accuracy is very good. It's not overly warm, yet both are reasonably relaxed. None of these are aggressive or anything like that. If we talk about instruments, instruments too are very similar character. When it comes to the character, both have very similar character to the vocals. This one is slightly smoother, slightly relaxed, slightly less resolving. If you want a lot of definition, you might find the QX13 slightly lacking, but the K13R2R has very good resolution, very good definition, no issues with the finishing definition and details. Slightly better, not slightly, much better details on this one. Cohesion and that kind of stuff are very good. This one is a bit more cohesive. This one is cohesive too because it sounds more natural, more accurate. So if you want a kind of fatigue free source, you can pick any. This one is warmer. This one is not very warm, but a bit more on the warmer side, slightly on the smoother side, slightly. It's not like it is bending everything, it is blunt or anything like that, but it definitely kind of makes it smoother. It just makes the peak cut off that edginess. Okay, so let's move on to the treble range. Treble range is where I kind of felt that QX13 is not great, because I kind of felt that the air between instruments and that kind of stuff is not that well defined with the QX13. Yes, this is the most expensive USB DAC amp from Fiio, but the overly warm nature is not letting it have that kind of distinctive transparency or detailed presentation. The resolution and definition is not exactly great with the QX13. It has a big stage and very good treble stage. Instruments have very good cue placement and that kind of stuff, but they are a bit on the thicker side, which kind of makes it sound muddled up, a bit more stuffy. One of my friends introduced me to that terminology, stuffy. I kind of say that it is slightly intersecting. They do not have that kind of clarity, separation with the QX13, but the K13R2R is simply outstanding. Very good treble definition. Both have fantastic extension, but this one takes the crown when it comes to the agility, clarity, air between instruments, layering, separation and transparency. Details too are better perceived with the K13R2R. This one has very good treble presentation. Airy, no issues with the air or anything like that, and the subtlety of background instruments is just outstanding because it has a bit more contrast. The foreground instruments have a bit more transparency to them, while the background instruments have the subtlety. So the contrast is fantastic. It has very good imaging too, while the QX13 is a bit more smoother in both those regions, so it kind of feels like it is slightly less engaging, slightly less involved in that regard. Or else for a USB DAC amp, this is simply outstanding. Okay, both are fantastic when it comes to what they are, but the K13R2R offers better sound quality, overall sound quality than the QX13. If you had any doubts about that, you do not need to think about the sound quality or the superiority of the K13R2R over the QX13. While the K13R2R is not the most powerful not USB desktop DAC amp in this price range. It offers R2R capabilities which might not be available with this kind of power in this price range. In any case, you can go for any of this and you will not regret your decision. Both are fantastic. QX13 is one of the most powerful USB DAC amps you can get under $300, and the K13 R2R is just simply outstanding. So this is it guys. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Enjoy.